What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is time for the next ESPN Bracketology update. I think we're on number 7, something like that. First one of the new year. A couple things I want to go over real quick. Andy Katz did his first Bracketology, and Jerry Palm of CBS actually updated his for the first time since November. I'm going to exclusively stick to the ESPN bracket. I might do Andy Katz maybe in the middle of the month. This month, next month, only just to get a little bit of variance, but I don't want to jog you guys around too much. Kind of want to keep it consistent. Also, if you haven't heard the news, March Madness is officially coming to my state, Indiana. This is going to be really, really something to remember. I'm looking forward to it. Without further ado, though, got some notes to go on the way with some teams real quick. Let's get through this. So some new entries on the list. First, Seton Hall in Region 1. Region 2, we have the Navy, Wichita State's now on this list, and Oral Roberts. Region 4 in the bottom left, Rice, VCU, Siena, Cleveland State. Region 3, Drake, who was undefeated 13-0, and Little Rock, all new on this bracketology. So let's go ahead and start. Texas, by the way, now up to a 1 seed. They're the designated worst number 1 seed. Michigan's now the designated worst number 2 seed. I don't know why. Iowa and Michigan should be swapped because Michigan's been the most consistent Big Ten team. Iowa has struggled a little bit this year. I don't get with these experts. They're so-called experts. Sure, yeah, right. Kansas fell to a 3 seed. Illinois to a 2 seed. I don't know why. They're barely winning games anyway. We'll go for it. Gonzaga versus North Carolina, A&T, and Grambling. I think we already know the deal there. Gonzaga's been the best team in the country this year. Duke, Seton Hall. I'm going to take Seton Hall. Duke hasn't really proven me much. Seton Hall, I know I said I wasn't too high up on them at first, but now they're starting to win some games. They're looking okay. Oregon, Furman, I don't think this is the team that can upset Oregon, but I don't think Oregon's going to get very far in the tournament. They've been struggling this year. West Virginia versus Toledo. West Virginia, the news, of course, came out. Oscar Tshiebwe not playing for the rest of the year for personal reasons. That's a huge blow. But their comeback win against, I think it was Oklahoma State. They crashed the glass. They can still crash the glass. Derek Culver could score. West Virginia may not even be out of it. You never know. We could see a resurge of this team, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out. Virginia versus USC in Northwestern. I'm not going to pick the playing games this time. USC, Northwestern, whoever. I think Virginia's going to lose this game. Virginia hasn't proven me a whole lot. They barely could beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's not the greatest team that they've been giving people fits this year. Tennessee, Sierra Nevada, go Tennessee. And then UNC, I think, will beat San Diego State. San Diego State literally gave up a 26-point lead. I think that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, comeback, I think, either in college basketball history or the program's history of Colorado State. And then San Diego State, a couple days later, faced them again. They were up by like 20. Then they only beat them by like 13. I'm like, I don't know. San Diego State's just kind of everywhere this year a little bit as the last couple games. Michigan over Southern Utah. I don't think there's any question there. Gonzaga, Seton Hall. We're going to go Gonzaga. Then I think West Virginia is going to beat Oregon. I just don't have much faith in Oregon right now. Tennessee, USC, Northwestern. I can see the upset here. Tennessee beats Missouri. Then they turn around and lose to Alabama. Tennessee, like I said, I'm not so up on the ship yet of this team. UNC and Michigan, I could see North Carolina giving Michigan a fight. Michigan, they got size, they could score. They're doing really good right now. Gonzaga, West Virginia, I could see West Virginia winning this game. You know, they can crash the glass with Gonzaga too, but I think the absence of Tshiebwe is going to come into play in this game a little bit. I don't know, though. Usually those teams actually prevail the odds, but I'm going to go Gonzaga here. I might mix it up in the next bracketology. I did say I was going to try to make some upsets here in this. They're coming, trust me. Michigan, Tennessee. We're going to go Michigan. And then I think I'm going to take Michigan in the Final Four. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. You know, Gonzaga, you know, they'll be so hot through the year, of course, but then they'll be like just on a hot streak. And then at some point they can burn out. It can happen. It can happen at any given point. All right, bottom left region. I want to make the note that Texas, if they end up being a number 1 seed, I think they're going to have a lot of pressure on them, of course, because a lot of people are expecting them to do well this year, and then they make the number 1 seed. Oh, we expect you to get far. That could really screw them over, I think. I don't know. I really hope Texas is not a 1 seed because that's going to make me nervous about them. Usually when teams that haven't been a 1 seed in a really, really long time, or they're a 1 seed for the first time ever, they don't do very well in the tournament. I'm going to go Texas over Rice. Arkansas, NC State. Arkansas struggled against Missouri a little bit, but they've proven they could score. NC State are in these closed games. NC State will make it a close game, but Arkansas could score, but NC State's faced tougher teams. I don't know. That's a coin flip pretty much. Louisville, VCU. I don't know why Louisville's a 5 seed. This is ridiculous. Louisville hasn't played anyone this year, really. I mean, they got destroyed by Wisconsin. I haven't seen a whole heck of a lot from this team. VCU can make the upset, but I haven't seen much from them either, so I'm forced to pick Louisville. Rutgers, Hofstra. What happened to Rutgers last night? Can somebody please explain this to me? Seriously, I think it's a good thing I'm doing this today. Michigan State has been laying eggs lately. Then they turn around and beat Rutgers 68-45. Rutgers scored 45 points last night. You can't even figure it out anymore. This season has been ridiculous. I'm going to still go Rutgers. I think you get the bad losses out of the way. Hopefully that'll not show up in the tournament, like that. St. Louis, Oklahoma State, and Alabama. Here's the thing. If Alabama wins, I don't think they're winning against St. Louis. Then again, though, they beat Florida by 15. Florida just, I don't know anymore. Alabama just beat Florida. Florida beat LSU, and they turn around and lose to Alabama like that. I think Alabama was right off the hot hand, though, beating Tennessee. Oklahoma State doing their fair share of load. I think St. Louis wins either way, but I think Oklahoma State has a better chance of beating St. Louis. I don't know at this point who has a better chance of doing anything at this point because everyone's been inconsistent, seems like, at some point. There's been a little bit of an inconsistency with every team. Jesus. Houston, Siena. We're going to go Houston, although they lost to Tulsa. Surprising. I don't know if I can call it a surprise. Caleb Mills not playing anymore for the rest of the year, too, due to personal reasons. I have a feeling that we're going to see more of that to come. Watch. That's a big blow to Houston. I don't know any more about that team right now. We'll see. I don't been talking of high regard of them, but that's a big blow. UConn over Colorado. Colorado should not even be on bracketology. They lost to Arizona, and Arizona has a self-imposed ban on the postseason, but yet they're still able to win the Pac-12? No, absolutely not. That's BS. They should not be allowed to try to win a Pac-12 title if they're imposing a self-ban. That makes no sense. Arizona cannot be... I don't know anymore. That's BS. I hate Arizona. Iowa over Cleveland State. Texas and Arkansas. We're going to go Texas. Rutgers and Louisville. Rutgers, if they play like that in the tournament, they're going to go out in the first round. There's no question about it. But I think Rutgers can turn it around. Oh my gosh, that was a bad loss. Houston, St. Louis. I'm going to take a chance at St. Louis. They could score. Houston does struggle to score. When they start getting defended on, their whole gang gets thrown off, like completely. If saw against UCF, jeez. UConn, Iowa. I could see Iowa losing this game. UConn is a good team in the tournament. James Bouknight could score. Iowa's starting to show signs they could defend. I watched some of that Rutgers game in the end. Good kudos to Iowa for toughening it out. I'm going to go Iowa, though. They're starting to figure it out on defense, it seems like. Texas and Rutgers. This game just is a nightmare because I have no clue who to pick. I don't know which Texas team we're going to get in the tournament. If they play like they did against Kansas, they're going to likely go all the way. They have a good chance of going all the way. Rutgers, the tournament experience, I think, comes into play here. Texas does have more tournament experience. Both these teams are due for a deep run at some point. Right now, I think Texas is the one that can do it right now. I don't know. From what I saw of them beating Kansas, Texas completely ran that game in the second half. They shot the three well. They ran to the glass well. Good Lord, they were everywhere. And Kansas is a team that can actually slow you down. Kansas just couldn't do anything in the second half. Iowa, St. Louis, a tricky game here. I'm going to go with Iowa, though. Texas and Iowa, we're going to go Texas to the Final Four. Like I said, though, the upsets are going to come a little bit. I'm going to try and, actually pick some more. Baylor versus the playing game. Baylor's going to win, although they had a scare there against, I think, Iowa State a little bit. Florida State, I think Iowa State's been getting everyone a scare. Texas did, actually. They gave Texas a scare. Florida State and IU, they faced each other. Florida State won by 2. I think they got kind of lucky winning that game. I'm a Florida State fan, but I'm going to go IU. I think IU can get revenge. Minnesota, Wichita State. Oh, boy. Why? Oh, man. For those who don't know, Wichita State has a history of making some runs when they're a lower seed. Don't forget, in 2013, they went to the Final Four as a 9 seed. They almost beat the best team, Louisville, which they eventually had their title stripped anyway. But Minnesota has been playing well. Wichita State doesn't have Greg Marshall anymore. I just don't know. I think Minnesota can do it. But Minnesota, when they faced Wisconsin, I think that was just a wrong time, wrong place kind of deal. Minnesota will pull through anyway. Missouri, Belmont. Missouri? Really? I mean, seriously. Mississippi State is not the best team yet. They just you go up by like 10 in the game and then you lose by 15. You don't know what you're going to get. Belmont can play decently well from what I've seen in their stats. I'm going to take a chance on this team, actually. I mean, if you can get around the Missouri's big man and kind of slow him down, I mean, just depends. I don't know anymore. We're just gonna go along. We're just gonna go along with the ride. Florida and Boise State. I'm gonna go take Boise State in the upset. Florida just has been. I don't know. They're inconsistent. I mean, Keontae Johnson's a huge piece of that team. They gotta spread the floor out more. I mean, Alabama. They ran into a hotter Alabama team. Florida was coming off of a just really close game against LSU. Florida doesn't seem to have a ton of defense. Foul trouble was killing them almost. Same with LSU. Boise State beat BYU. Boise State's going to be a team that I don't think a lot of people are going to think of, but that's going to be a mistake. We'll see, hopefully. Creighton, Navy. Creighton's just, oh my gosh, the close games continue with this team. Mahoney kept trying to give the game away to Providence. Providence, you don't want to really play tight with them and then when they're defending because they get bigger somehow. You got to play more loose. They want you to come to them. I don't know, something along those lines. Zagorowski, of course, not playing like he used to before his surgery, but I think it's more of the thing of him trying to really just get into it more slowly. I don't know. Creighton shoots the 3 well. They have a guy that can shoot the 3 he has range, great range, but Providence had that game. They let it go. Creighton could have lost. Creighton could definitely lose at any point in this tournament. Virginia Tech and Xavier. We're going to go Virginia Tech. That's a coin flip. Xavier's been doing decent as well. I mean, they did get kind of pounded by Seton Hall. Illinois, Oral Roberts are going to go Illinois. Baylor and IU. IU could give Baylor a throw around pretty much because here's the thing. With the tournament being in Indiana, IU's going to be like, home field advantage kind of like. They're going to, I don't know. Something's telling me IU's going to give some people fits in the tournament, whoever they face. I'm going to go Baylor, though. My trust for Baylor is kind of to a certain extent because I know their history in the tournament. Minnesota and Belmont. We're going to go Minnesota, or not Belmont. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Belmont won at this point with how everyone wants to lose. You at least expect it. Boise State and Creighton. I'm going to take a chance on Boise State. Why not? Virginia Tech and Illinois. I'm going to go Illinois. I don't really like that pick because Illinois, I remember some guy on TV, he's like, oh, Illinois beat down Purdue or whatever. I'm like, no, they didn't. What are you talking about? Illinois only won by 8 points. That's not beating somebody down. It's almost losing to them. And the score was 66-58. So what are you trying to tell me? Baylor, Minnesota, this will be a very interesting game. Minnesota can give them a fight. I mean, Minnesota's proven they can beat anybody. I have to go with Baylor, though. But I wouldn't be surprised if Baylor lost. Boise State, Illinois, the fun ends for Boise State. We're going to go Illinois, and I think Baylor will beat Illinois. Here we go. All right, I think this region could blow up a little bit. We'll see. Villanova over Stony Brook. I'm going to go Michigan State over LSU. Winthrop, I think, is going to upset Texas Tech. I haven't liked Texas Tech. Literally, I talked about the three-point shooting's not good for them, and then they turn around, then they do the opposite. They start shooting the 3 well, then they can't shoot the freaking field goal position starts going down. I have no idea anymore. They could defend, but man, they lost to Oklahoma State. They barely beat Oklahoma. Clemson, Abilene Christian. The upset's there, potential's there. Abilene Christian is not a pushover. They only lost by 7 to Texas Tech. They only lost by 13 to Arkansas. Clemson, I don't know. This team can only score so much, it seems like, per game, and they're in these really close games. I'm not so sure. But Clemson's in a tougher conference, of course. I think that's going to pay off in the end. Ohio State and Drake, this is a really weird one because Ohio State, they've been kind of like up and down this year. I mean, don't they have all their players back? I thought they were healthy, I guess. I have no idea. Drake is 13-0. The only team they've really faced of importance, significance is Kansas State. They're not even that good. First game of the year, I know we don't know what you don't know what to expect the first game of the year, but Drake. I'm gonna have to take Ohio State though. I just think Drake can definitely give them a fight. I mean, they shoot the three well and all that, but they turn over the ball a little bit too much. I think Kansas and Little Rock. Oh my goodness, Kansas just like I said. I don't fully trust them, and look what happened against them in Texas. UCLA, Syracuse. UCLA is another team I just cannot get behind. Wisconsin, New Mexico State, Wisconsin. Villanova, Michigan State. Villanova will win. Winthrop and Clemson. Again, Clemson can lose this game. I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to go Clemson, though. Ohio State and Kansas. You know what? I feel like taking a chance on Ohio State. I don't know why, but Kansas, man, they're either gonna play like they did against West Virginia, or they're gonna lay an egg like they did against Texas. Oh my goodness, I don't know which team you're gonna get. I really don't. I guess Kansas will win. I'm not even sure at this point. Wisconsin over Syracuse. Villanova and Clemson. I think Clemson could beat Villanova. It's can they score enough? Villanova can score. They're a very balanced team, but they've been facing some weaker teams, and again to a defensive battle, they really struggle. Of course, let's just make it happen. We're gonna put Clemson in the Elite Eight. Mix it up just a little bit. Kansas and Wisconsin. I'm gonna go Wisconsin. Wisconsin, Clemson, this is an awkward Elite Eight matchup. I don't like it at all. We're going to Wisconsin in the Final Four. All right. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I know I said I'm going to put some lower seeds in the Final Four. I'm going to really try my hardest more next time, whatever you want to call it. But it's just how crazy the season's been. It's hard to even predict any of this. Michigan and Texas, really good game here. Michigan can definitely beat Texas. This would be a very physical game. The pressure's on Texas to go all the way. I just think Texas loses it here. I think Michigan can go all the way. They have a great team. I just really like what I'm seeing from this team. Baylor, Wisconsin. Baylor, they're due for a deep run again, and I think Baylor can do it here. And Michigan and Baylor in the national title game. I'm gonna take Baylor to win the whole thing. All right, next bracketology, no excuses. I'm gonna kind of go a little bit all out in the bracket. You're gonna see some more crazy picks. I'm gonna try my best with it. It's all about the matchup, though. Here's the thing: you gotta think about it this way. It's all about the matchup in the tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys. Pardon me, in the next one.